We're going to have a look now at how to change the instrument sound. By default, the sound is very simple, which may or may not be what you want. If you go over to the right-hand side, we have a list of the instruments here. Now we have everything under instrument 1 at the moment, and we have a few symbols to the right which are going to enable us to change the timbre of the sound. The first and most important one, I think, is this one here that looks like a sound icon, which will give us a volume envelope. Now at the moment, it's at full volume. If I turn it down halfway, half volume, all the way down to the bottom, it's completely silent. But at number 1, it'll be as quiet as it will go. Now we can create a volume envelope which changes the volume over time by dragging this little arrow here as long as you want. So I can change the volume over time. Just zoom so I can see them all. Okay, so it is starting at 15 and we might want it to gradually fade out. Like so. So now when I play a note, it starts loud and gradually gets quieter. Notice it doesn't end completely silent because it ends on the final volume of the envelope. If I wanted it to end completely silent and stop, the last one needs to be 0. And we get a nice staccato sound there. I can change the timbre of the sound by changing the waveform here. So by clicking on this shape here, we get a similar sort of thing where we can change the sound from that to that to that and to that. So what this is doing, this is changing the type of square wave that we are using. So 0 on the duty cycle gives us a very thin sound. 1 is a little bit smoother, and 2 is a little bit smoother still. 3 is actually exactly the same sound as 1. You won't notice any difference. So generally the choice is between either 0, 1 or 2. I'm going to keep it at 2 for now. Just like on the volume settings, we can create an envelope for this so we can change the duty cycle over time. We can make it start at 3, go down to 2, to 1 and to 0. Now, I'm going to skip this one. This is the absolute pitch. I'm going to skip that one for now and move on to the arpeggio. Here we can add some pitch changes to our sound. And it works in semitones. Note that it doesn't line up with the keyboard on the left-hand side. So if I want to start my sound an octave higher, I start on 12 and listen to the sound now. Compared to how it was before. And maybe I might want to create a little arpeggio, a major arpeggio by going 0, 4, 7, and 12. Maybe I want a smaller envelope and just end there. And another thing you can do is you can loop round any of these envelopes by dragging just underneath the numbers here. And it will create a loop of that little section. Now it's not exactly looping because the volume fades out. So let's let the sound sustain a little by editing the volume envelope. We'll make it sustain at a reasonable volume. And let's have a look at our arpeggio envelope again. And we can see it going around that. Which gives us a very retro sound.